children. So what else is going on? Well, I'll just hold up the Sunday Telegraph here, which I purchased yesterday. And what caught my eye was this headline: Police Unit to Monitor Anger Over Migrants. And this is the National Internet Intelligence Investigation Team. This is a bit like 77 Brigade, but it's the police, and they are going to go flat out to pick up anybody who dares criticise the mass migration policy. Well, we are going to do exactly that by pointing out to people that the plan is to exile the UK population in its own land, in their own land, in our own land. And who am I talking about? Well, I'm not talking about white people. I am talking about anybody who's established in this country and who has been enjoying the established cultural identity of this country, because the agenda of the government is to destroy our cultural identity. And I remember many years ago, the chairman of Birmingham Central Mosque came and gave a talk in Plymouth where he talked about why he left a very dangerous Pakistan to come to UK. And of course, he came to UK because of the cultural environment in this country. He didn't come to UK to live in the same cultural environment as Pakistan, which was very, very dangerous to his family. So the learning process here is everybody who is living in this country is to be attacked under this policy. And the attack is also designed to destroy the lives of the migrants themselves. Now, I'm just going to very, very quickly flick through the headlines or the major articles in this Telegraph edition, because clearly the Telegraph was up to no good. Here is a very emotive picture about people daring to protest about what's happening with these massive migration and immigration figures. We've got lots of fear. If I bring you on to this one, we've got grooming gangs juxtaposed with Nigerian immigrant poets and migrant murder. So this is all absolutely designed to ramp up the fear in people's minds and to lead people to believe that they cannot do anything to stop this madness which the government has implemented. Now, if we look at the mighty Telegraph itself, they can't even manage to produce a proper analytical article about what is going on. The headline here is "Ending Secrecy on Migrant Crime Statistics Will Help Stop the Boats." Well, of course, the boats are a minor part of the migration and the immigration, and the idea is to get the public focused on rubber boats and not onto the politics that are coming through the government on immigration. And of course, the fear is continued in the Telegraph. So we've got put resources into physical policing, not Orwellian units. So the government, and this is cross-party, it's Labour and Conservative, Lib Dems have been in there in times gone past. The government itself has been creating the chaos through this ridiculous and dangerous immigration policy. The violence ensues. The criminality ensues, and then what do? You call for more police. This is building the dictatorship in UK, and it's getting very, very easy to recognise. Now, aside from the Telegraph articles and mixed opinion on immigration and migration, of course, Palestine and Israel were heavily represented, and of course the paper putting across simply the Israeli government viewpoint. And here was the headline: "Recognising Palestine would reward murder and rape." Why am I mentioning this? Because the paper mixes this stuff against its immigration reporting so that people's minds are completely scrambled as to what they really should be worried about. Here's another headline: "Town in fear after supporters of pro-Gaza MP accused of intimidation campaign. Be fearful, be afraid of migrants in this country. But of course, the government itself wants those migrants in this country in vast numbers to break down the cultural identity of this nation. And they're going to use the type of psychology that Ben has already shown in London. Now, I've captioned this: Palestine slaughter swept into the long grass. You can make your own mind up about this, but essentially nothing pro-Palestine in the Telegraph, not interested in the slaughter. It's simply to keep the pro-Israel line going. Now, I'm going to say here to our audience that UK Column absolutely delighted recently to have an interview with a Jewish lady talking about her concerns, and indeed the concerns of wider Jewish communities, about what is being done in their name. And we will have further interviews from members of the Jewish community talking about that. So really pleased to see that finally we've got a dialogue going with people who are deeply, deeply unhappy with Zionist policy. Now, just before we show you a video about what people have really been saying about immigration and migration, last little headline here, if I could bring it up on screen from the Telegraph. It's about Mandelson calling Epstein his best pal in a birthday message. But of course, that was absolutely tucked away in the Telegraph itself. Apparently not important to the Telegraph, but I think very, very important to many people, not only in the UK, but also the United States. Let's look at what ordinary men and women were saying about problems to do with immigration in Epping. And a big thank you to Will Coleshill for sending us this report from the end of last week.
I've been here over 70 years.
What was it like up until the migrants arrived?
That hotel was very posh. You used to have a man years ago with a grand piano playing. We never could afford to go in there. And even my daughter had a wedding reception there, and it was lovely. And then all this lot all come in, and they just ruined it all. Epping's ruined now. And it's such a shame. It's never lovely there, isn't it?
Just support the local people. I live about 5 miles away. Come down here to show my support. I've been down here every time. I'm here peacefully, I like to know, unlike some the other day. But it's got to stop. It's ridiculous. People, the average British person is struggling, and yet these come over on a banana boat, get a free mobile phone, get allowance, which they've been spending in the bookies by all accounts today, we've been told. It's just enough is enough. Just everybody's had enough of it. It just seems like the government just don't give two shits about the British people. And it's just, like I just keep saying, enough is enough.
It's just a point of principle that I just think that these people come over and no one's stopping to ask questions or, if you're coming over, can you prove you can support yourself? I know Britain's always opened its arms, and in principle I'm for that. But it's just getting ridiculous. Our own people. A friend of mine who's disabled has been kicked out on the street, British born and bred, and can't get to house or flat, will have no money, and he's going to have to live on the street. How right is that when other people come over and just seem to get whatever they want? So it's a point of principle rather than specifically what happened here. It's just generally. I just don't think British people are supported. I don't care what colour you are, what nationality you are, but essentially you're British. You are not supported.
So all this lot coming in, walking about. I'm frightened to take my dog out. She's only a little dog, and I'm frightened to go out with her. And it's just awful out here. It's just been out, the whole country's out of control. And Starmer just flies around on the planes going everywhere, not doing a thing. Just other countries, that's all he thinks about.
Residents again gathered in the Essex town of Epping on Thursday in protest against the Bell Migrant Hotel, expressing concerns for local safety. A large police presence was in place with police from around 7 different forces, including Met Police, TSG and dogs. Protesters peacefully worked with the police to congregate in designated penned areas despite fears this may spark a flashpoint. Protesters sought to bring on board the local council in opposition to the hotel.
We believe that the council isn't showing any solidarity. For too long they've put out lip service about how they want the hotel shut down. They want it closed, but the reality is they're not. If they wanted the hotel shut down, they wanted to keep our community safe, they'd be standing here today and they'd be marching alongside us.
So do you think you're going to be able to draw councillors over to your side and put pressure?
I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, or I don't know, but I believe there was 2 district councillors at our last protest on Sunday. I'd like to see plenty more.
And does the council actually have power to stop this sort of thing happening in their area?
The sad reality is that they don't. However, local protests work when elected representatives get on board and side with the local people. Protest works when they have solidarity from the voices that have been elected. The fact that the council hasn't come and stood with us today, it kind of delegitimises our peaceful protest. We would like the council here alongside us, and it kind of gives us a firmer voice. Epping says no.
And when's the next council elections, and will you be standing if they don't listen?
I don't know if I'll be standing. Probably not, to be honest. It depends on my personal situation. But I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, we had our elections cancelled, and I believe the next ones are in 2026. So keep an eye out. Okay, everyone, we'll be leaving now. We'll be leaving towards the council. The liaison officer's going to stop the traffic so it's safe to cross, and we'll make our way down the high road.
In defiance of the weather, protesters then marched towards the council building, drawing on significant support from the locals of the town. Protesters then congregated opposite the council building, demanding solidarity from the local councillors.
But the district council will be debating a motion as to whether they support the closure of the Bell Hotel. Residents of Epping, do you support the closure of the Bell Hotel? We're here to show that the town, the residents of Epping, we want this hotel gone. We have to clear them out, we don't want them here. The Bell Hotel has posed a risk for too long. We've had 2 arsonists, 2 counts of arson, 3 counts of sexual assault, and 2 others. And it's too much. The residents are in danger. Community's not safe. As long as that hotel's open, we can't walk our streets safe at night. As long as that hotel's open, we can't guarantee that our girls won't be harassed. Until that hotel's shut, we'll keep protesting. We'll keep peacefully protesting and raising our voices and letting it know that the hotel has to go!
The protest then wound down, with many returning to the hotel and their cars. Later Thursday evening, it was announced that Epping District Council passed a motion of solidarity against the hotel. A further protest is planned for Sunday, spurred on by Tommy Robinson, with a counter-demonstration planned. This is Will Coleshill reporting for UK Column News. Keep peeled for more.
Save our kids! 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 One more!
So local people getting fired up quite rightly, but of course nothing will change, nothing will stop unless the wider public in UK tackle the government as the source of the problems and not to focus on people on the ground. But of course, changing the views of your local council, very, very important.